What's going on, my friends? Welcome to the first ever episode, the introduction episode, episode 0, if you want to call it, of the Get Your Game On podcast, bringing you the hottest takes, latest stories, and spicy picks surrounding New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, national, and international sports. Hosted by yours truly, Adam Grassani, joined as always by Michael Cunningham, Alex Reich, David Heller, and Chris Kern. You can listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and YouTube right now. Episodes will be coming soon to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And with all that said, get ready to get your game on. All right. Welcome to our first podcast here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so let's get it.
All right,
It's gonna be a good one.
Let's get right in. So as we all said, this is our first podcast, and no one listening really knows who we are and why they should listen to us in particular. So our podcast in particular. So we're just gonna take this first episode just to introduce ourselves and tell you what you should listen to. Not only this episodes, but all episodes coming of the Get Your Game On podcast. So I'll start. My name, of course, as you heard, is Adam Grassani. I graduated from Montclair State University in fall of 2019. That was my last semester, and I graduated in the summer of 2020. I graduated in the summer, and the graduation got pushed back because of COVID and everything. But really, during my time at Montclair State University, I've always been a passionate sports fan. Going back to my high school days, I had like a sports journalism class where every week you got to write a sports piece, and that really was really my passion for sports took off, because I was always into sports or it's casually, but high school was really when my passion started to take off. And then I took that to my time at Bryant Community College, where I was sports editor at the paper. I covered the on-campus team, the Bergen Bulldogs, and I also wrote a bunch of stuff concerning the local teams surrounding the area in New York, New Jersey, the Yankees, all that good stuff. And then I transferred to Montclair State University, and I might take 5 minutes alone, like explain all my memories. I can make this whole podcast episode about all my memories from my time at Montclair State. But long story short, I joined the Montclair, and I got to cover all the on-campus teams there, including the 2018 and 2019 Division III men's soccer team. The men's soccer team won back-to-back titles, and I got to cover both of those teams. And also, I also was a writer for a website formerly known as Double G Sports. They covered, all, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia sports, and I wrote articles about the Yankees, the Giants, the Nets, the Devils, all the local sports teams. And I also got to cover I was also the beat writer for the 2019 New Jersey Jackals team, then of the Can-Am League, now of the Frontier League. They're an independent league baseball team, and let me tell you, covering that team is an experience I will never forget, because they actually won the championship that year too. It was the first time they've won an independent league championship since 2004, I believe. So covering those games was really unbelievable. It really reminded me why I have this passion for sports, and I can't really explain why I have a passion for sports. It's just if I could do my best to explain, it's just the fun. It's exhilarating, and most of all, it's just socializing. I've met so many great friends through sports where we just hang out, talk about the games, even trash talk each other. All of it has just made so many great memories through sports. So that's pretty much it. That's all I really have to say.
I'm Michael Cunningham. I went to Banyan High School with Adam over 10 years ago.
A lot of great memories.
I played basketball, football, baseball, soccer. I was an all-state in basketball for high school. I fell in love with the game at an early age, at the age of 5, and then played at Mitchell College at D3 school for a year. Didn't like it that much. Went to Bergen, played there, didn't like the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to TCNJ with Alex Rich and David Heller Jr. for 2 to 3 years at TCNJ. Played basketball for Unified Sports and for Striver Cup. Played basketball for them a couple of times. Won a couple of championships there. And I covered basketball my whole entire life. My favorite player, God rest his soul, was Kobe Bryant, Marcus Camby, Allen Iverson. And I loved watching Michael Jordan and Vince Carter play.
Yes. If I could ask you a question, Michael, how did playing basketball at the college level and the high school level, ignite your help your passion for sports, and covering basketball as well, if you could explain.
For me, falling in love with the game from when I played high school ball, it was different from playing college basketball. They're two different levels. Because you could be the man in high school, you could average 1,000 points, 2,000 points in high school, whatever, and then you could be a bench warmer coming off the bench. I had to adjust those levels. Because when I played college ball, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start. I was the man. But in differences, their diet regimens are different. And I was so much of a competitive person, my will would not let me do it. Because in high school, you could eat so much junk food and you could play great. When you play college ball, you have to eat more of a certain diet, do more runs, because they made you want to beat that spot so you can play for them. And for me, watching my dad play, watching my brother, watching all my family have all those trophies growing up in my grandma's house and seeing that, I was like, you know what? That made me more and more passionate about the game. And also playing against Alex a couple times in college kind of like had a little bit of fun times. Loser by
Alex, you want to respond to that?
I feel like Big Mike definitely he definitely got me a lot of times.
I'm sure it brings back a lot of great memories, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so Michael, are you done?
I'm gravy, baby.
All right. So moving on to who wants to go next?
Hi, I'm Alex Rich. I went to Abington Senior High School for college. I mean,
if I mispronounced the name in the intro, Alex, I'm sorry. If I did, I don't remember if I did or not.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
I also attended TCNJ and got to meet a bunch of great friends, which was Michael Cunningham and David Addo. And they were big on sports as soon as I got to college. And it was a fun time, fun 4 years. And I will be enrolling to a fifth year program starting this upcoming fall. And I also played in the Striver Cup at TCNJ and won a championship, and I had a great time there.
Awesome stuff. All right, next.
I can go ahead and go.
Go right ahead, Chris. Go right ahead.
So yeah.
No fear. Just take the mantle.
Yeah. So I kind of big fan of all sports, and growing up, I didn't play football a ton growing up, but I was still a huge fan of that. I'm the biggest fan of basketball. I still remember my very first basketball game when I was in the third grade was on my eighth birthday, November 2nd. And it was like just Sunday youth league. And it was on my birthday after like watching a Chiefs game. After the Chiefs went, I went and played my basketball game, and just memories like that are awesome. But yeah, I've kind of had within like high school, I've kind of really gone back and forth between the sports media and kind of trying to get into coaching aspect of sports. It's something I love. So I played basketball all the way through high school, had some injuries that kind of kept me off the floor sometimes, but definitely I love just being a part of the team. Like I didn't play a lot, but like just being on the team and just going through all that hard work and winning games with the guys, like that, those are memories I'll never forget. And Michael kind of brought it up about like when you're in high school, you can eat anything. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to have a great diet to necessarily be the top athlete. And that kind of made me think of, I don't know, it kind of made me think of, so we had this I went to a tiny school. We had like 500 people in our town, just like 100 kids in our high school. Like we were tiny. And we had this local diner. And one time before our biggest game of the season, I don't know why we did this. Me and my best friend, who was like a star player, and one of our managers, like two of my best friends, we went out to eat and got bacon cheeseburgers and some cheese curds before the game, which I don't know whose idea it was, but it happened. And we won the game. So it became a tradition, but just dumb little stuff like that. And just like hanging with the guys of bonding over sports like that is just kind of stuff I love about it. And then my senior year of high school, I started a sports website based off Kansas City sports, and it did pretty well. And I kind of
What's the website called?
It was Border War Sports. It's not online anymore, but I did kind of talking about the Kansas City, Missouri sports, the kind of the local sports teams, the pro teams, and the college teams. Kind of focused on that. I've had some different writing experiences with Fansided as well. No longer writing anywhere currently, but I've kind of done a lot of stuff through the sports media world. Right now, I'm trying to get more into the coaching aspect, but I've just done a lot of different stuff, and I just love talking sports. Like we've had some fun talks already. Getting to know you guys a little bit these past couple of days, and I'm just a big sports fan. I just love talking sports with anybody. I could just sit here and talk all night with you guys. So
awesome!
That's definitely excited.
We're definitely have a lot of fun memories of us talking all night about sports. I can promise you that.
It's like a great memory.
All right, last but not least, David, fire away.
My name is David Hello. I graduated Central Bucks High School West. Got a lot of memories there. I was the manager for the guys' basketball team for 4 years there, and we won Continental Championship in 2012, my sophomore year, and 2 other years, 2013 and my senior year, 2014, we were state qualifiers. And I also graduated the College of New Jersey with not with Big Meg and Alex, but Dimmy year. I met those guys through college, and I was also a manager for TCNJ men's basketball team. 4 years, got a lot of memories with that team. In my senior year, I appeared in the round one in the playoffs. We got knocked down in the first round. We didn't. I mean, we made it, but we didn't run. We didn't actually win a title in the playoffs. But I couldn't take it. Like all seniors did, because it was like my last year, and it was devastating. But yeah, it's tough. And I became Philly sports fan. Like I only had like certain teams I like. Just for football, like Eagles, hockey, Flyers, basketball, Sixers, and baseball, Phillies. But I also have 2 teams in basketball and baseball, the Royals and Oakland A's.
Awesome.
Besides sports, I like to live life the way we have.
Awesome stuff. And David, your stuff you were mentioning there about your favorite sports, this is exactly what I want to transition to the next part of our podcast too. And let's talk about we already just talked about our experiences in sports. So I want to talk about our favorite memories of sports, but this time with all our favorite teams. So we're just gonna go ahead, introduce what sports you watch, favorite team from each, and I'm gonna say your favorite memory from the team you want. So I'll just start. For example, my favorite sport of all time is baseball. Easily, I mean, I lived blood, sweat, and tears baseball. I mean, I could go on how much I love baseball, and easily my favorite team is the Yankees. I bleed pinstripes. I could go on for on about how big of a Yankees fan I am. Like, I can safely say, of all the times I mentioned about writing, like for all the previous like sports websites and newspapers I did, I can safely say I wrote more, excluding the Jackals because I obviously covered them. Excluding teams I covered as like a beat writer. I can safely say I wrote more about the Yankees than any other team. And if I could pick out my favorite memory from from the Yankees is that unfortunately it wasn't unfortunately like, I was too young to truly fully appreciate the 2009 World Series. I still like treasure that memory with all my heart, but it wasn't when I was really like a diehard fan of sports. So if I were to pick a favorite memory from the Yankees, it would be like the 20 Derek Jeter's walk-off hit in 2014. Derek Jeter is like my all-time favorite athlete, all-time favorite player of any sport ever, not just baseball. I mean, he's kind of like a role model to me. I had the pleasure of meeting him actually, like at the 2020 when Hall of Fame introduction when they introduced all Hall of Famers. So that was an unbelievable experience to me. So now I'm gonna kind of roll over quickly for over the rest of them since I focused on my number one, which is baseball. So New York Giants. For football, I'm a New York Giants fan. Easily my favorite memory is winning Super Bowl 46. I remember back in high school, me and Michael because he's a Jets fan. We're talking trash throughout the playoffs, and he kept on telling me about how the Giants were going to be eliminated, how they didn't stand a chance against the 15-1 Packers. So I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun rubbing it into Big Money Mike when we ended up winning the Super Bowl. So he's my favorite memory there. Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, I could easily say getting Katie and Kyrie, but that doesn't apply to on the court. So I'm gonna say back in 2019, D'Angelo Russell's 44-point game, like against the Sacramento Kings, like when the Nets were in the middle of a playoff hunt, they were trailing by I don't know how many points, and D'Angelo Russell just went off. I believe he scored 27 points in the fourth quarter, and the Nets ended up winning the game. I remember going nuts for that game. And last but not least, I'm a hockey fan, big New Jersey Devils fan, and he's my favorite Mary Foster Devils. Adam Henrique's overtime goal in the 2012 Eastern Conference Final to beat the arch rival New York Rangers and to go on to the Stanley Cup, which they unfortunately lost to the Los Angeles Kings, but I still treasure that. I remember going nuts for that goal as well. So those are all my favorite sports teams and favorite memories of all of them.
All right, for me, sorry to cut Adam off. I'm a diehard for basketball. I'm a Knick and Laker fan. I'm going to say my favorite basketball moment as a Knick fan was probably watching the game with my dad, watching Larry Johnson's 4-point play at the Garden against the Pacers in the 1999 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 4, the tightest series up. It was the most impressive shot I've ever seen. And another Knick moment was, I'm gonna say off-court moment was watching the draft of probably seeing Willis Reed coming out the tunnel at the Garden. That was like an unbelievable moment. The Knicks it was Game 7, Knicks versus Lakers, and they won their first championship, and he inspired their team to win that game, which was amazing. And watching Carmelo Anthony's 61 points. And I'm going to say my favorite moment going to a Knicks game was I played at Madison Square Garden when I was 13 years old. My whole AU team got to play there. They got to play against the Hawks, and it was a great game. To see it. I see Chris is hating over there at the side.
Dude, that's awesome. You got to play there. That's sweet.
I felt like I had my little 15 minutes of fame. But my favorite Laker moment was watching Kobe Bryant's 60-point game. His last NBA.
Oh my God.
And
that was unbelievable.
He was having a stretchy season that year. And I had all my Kobe gear. I was like, you know what? I'm watching this game. I told my mom, I was in college. I was like, you know what? I have an early class. I don't care. It's Kobe's last game. I'm watching it. I'm doing it. Screw it. I'm watching it. Like, it brought me tears of joy to see the guy who inspired me to watch the game of basketball. And I was at a point, I was like, I'm done with basketball. And the way how Kobe scored 60 points in his last game made my belief fell in love with basketball again, all over and over. And I gotta say, in the 2000 playoffs, Western Conference Finals, you know who I'm talking about, the famous lob from Kobe to Shaq. Kobe on the move, lobs it up to Shaq, and Shaq dunks it. That's like one of the greatest Laker moments. And my all-time favorite Laker moment, Robert Horry's Game 4, 2002 against the Sacramento Kings buzzer beater. Kobe takes the layup. Kobe drives, 6 layup, misses it. Shaq tries tips it. He tips it, and then Divock taps it out to Horry. Horry for the win. Game winner. And I'm also a baseball fan as well. I remember my favorite moment was probably Derek Jeter getting his 3,000 hit.
Oh my God, that was
a home run. Because Derek Jeter's my all-time favorite baseball player.
Fun story. Sorry for interrupting. Like a fun story. I was actually at my girlfriend's house when he actually got that hit. I remember we were all going nuts.
And for me, Barry Bonds was also one of my favorite players. So let him beating the record of the late great Hank
Mike,
Aaron.
who's your favorite baseball team again?
Yankees, and I'm also a sort of a Dodger and Giants fan.
Oh, okay.
And I know I wasn't allowed to see this play when the great Jackie Robinson stole home. That's probably everybody's. Yeah. If it wasn't for him, we won't be having African American athletes. I'm saying he broke the barrier for baseball.
Exactly.
And watching Barry Bonds tie probably the greatest hitter in MLB history, besides Jobs Gibson, who never got a chance to play, breaking Hank Aaron's record. And my all-time favorite baseball play is watching Derek Jeter's walk-off home run in the 2001 World Series against Kim. And I was at that Yankee game.
You were at that game?
I was freezing cold. I was 7 years old. I was freezing my butt off. I was a 7-year-old kid. I was like, Dad, let's go home. He's like, no, it's game over. You're watching. I'm like, fine. And then, I was like, all right. And my all-time favorite football moment was when me and Alex would watch the Cowboys game with our friend John. And I remember watching this was when the Cowboys were like the best team in the NFC East in 2017. We got to watch when Elliott had 3 touchdowns, and my friend John had to wear my Cowboys jersey the next day after the Cowboys beat the Giants. Sorry, Adam. And for me, that's crap. And I don't follow hockey because brothers, we don't skate. So I'm gonna give it to my man.
Doesn't have that excuse.
Hey, we don't skate. We don't swim either. I'll give it to my man A. Rich.
All right. All right. Nice job there, Mike. So many great memories that you brought up. All right. Next. Who wants to go next?
Alex will go next, then Chris, then David.
All right.
Okay. So before I get into something with my favorite sports team, I would like to mention about the time I went to the Staples Center to watch the Clippers against the Chicago Bulls, and I got a chance to sit next to Bill Simmons.
Whoa, that was awesome. When was that?
It was when I forget. It's been at least like 7 years ago.
Wow.
And
so it's like 2014-ish?
I think it might have been earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2012, 2013. All right.
Yeah. And I just remember, I was actually out in the LA area, and I got a special surprise. And the surprise was that night we would go to the Staples Center to see the Clippers play. So that really stayed with me my whole entire life, which is beyond cool. And so I would like to mention my favorite Philadelphia sports moment. Dating back in 2019 on July 20th. I got to go see Roy Halladay's no-hitter
Whoa.
against the Cincinnati Reds.
Green
And
Mary.
yep.
Wow.
So
How many no-hitters did Roy Halladay have again?
I forget.
I think that was
how
his
much-
only one, right?
Yeah,
Or did he have another that I'm not thinking of?
I think that might have been his only one.
All right, we
Oh,
can
oh, wait.
research.
Wait,
We'll
actually,
research it on our next show.
We
Actually,
can
he-
research after the podcast. After the
He did-
podcast, so nobody know. Rest
he
in
did
peace, Roy Halladay. By the way,
R.I.P.
yeah,
he did
tragic
have
the way
one.
he died.
He did have one in Miami.
Yeah.
I
Oh, he
forget
had
what-
one in Miami too. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
He did it in Florida when they called Florida Marlins.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So that was my favorite baseball type moment, which is actually it was even cooler because for that game, I went with a friend of mine and my dad, and we sat the last row behind home plate that game, which was like it was pretty chilly out, so we were cold and stuff, but we enjoyed every moment of it.
Awesome. All right, Chris, go right ahead.
Yes, so I'm probably big into college sports, and some of you guys are. So some of my KU
You're a
basketball,
college sports guy.
Kansas basketball is probably my favorite sports team. They won the national title in 2008, and I remember that. But
He
it's
was
not
going to
like
bring that up.
It's not- it's-
Yeah.
it's not like something that like I really remember exactly. Like I know I was in my living room with my family, but it's not like some of my more recent memories that I have. Like there's a lot of heartbreak with that. So many upsets in the tournaments, but I just love KU basketball. And then on the NBA side, I'm a big Memphis Grizzlies guy. I've had it because in Kansas, I'm from Kansas. We don't really have a local NBA team, so I've kind of been a fan of a lot of different teams before I found the Grizzlies. So
Is Memphis anywhere close to Kansas?
they're probably like 10, 12 hours from me.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City would be the closest,
Oh, okay.
about like 5.5 hours or something like that. So not really super. Most of my local friends are Oklahoma City Thunder fans, but the Sonics were at least half of my life. I don't know exactly when they moved, but when I first became a basketball fan, they weren't in Oklahoma City either.
Dave,
But,
I believe, sorry to interrupt you, Big
No, you're
Chris. They moved from Seattle from 2000 to 2008-09 season.
That
They
sounds about
moved
right.
to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
I
I'm,
just
no,
wanted to
you're
say
good.
it.
But I'm also just barely too young to remember the Kansas City Kings. So like so it's no easy for me to
Kansas City Kings, we weren't even alive then.
Yeah, like no, we ain't close for that. And like I didn't have like family friends who were fans of the Kings either. So no interest there. So you kind of mentioned Michael Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. I kind of rooted for the Lakers for him for a few years, and then Andre Iguodala on the Sixers. He was actually one of my favorite players, so I rooted for Philly for a while, and I kind of still do because Joel Embiid's one of my favorite players. And
Yeah, unbelievable year too.
I just and then Paul Pierce is another one of my favorite players. So I kind of like Boston and the Nets for a while. So I kind of just went around. But then when Tony Allen and Zach Randolph in the Memphis Grizzlies, and they just played hard, man. They played
that was
so
a team,
hard.
brother.
They
That was a
played
team.
hard, and that was like this is my kind of basketball, and I've just been a fan of them ever since. So that's probably like 7, 8 years ago, something like that. And I just love the way they play, and I just love that team now. But some of my favorite like actual sports moments probably go with when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series. The year before they lost to Madison Bumgarner, and he was just dealing. It was probably one of the best World Series pitching performances ever. He started
2014, right?
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
that
those
was-
games. He was.
And then he relieved Game 7, and we knew it was over.
Yeah.
It was just
But I have a question about that World Series. Was Lorenzo Cain the AL MVP of the AL that year in 2014, I believe?
I believe he was.
I'm pretty sure he was too. Yeah.
Yeah. because we had a lot of different guys step up. Those world teams were so fun. Like they just played. And then 2015, they won the World Series after the clock struck midnight. So it was like my 15th birthday or something. Yeah, because it went to like 14 innings, so it went past midnight. So it was my birthday. So that's pretty cool too. But then my all-time favorite sports moment is the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I was in downtown Kansas City watching the game, which is a big risk. I usually like watching games by myself. And like I wasn't cocky, but like the possibility of post-game celebration with all my buddies and stuff, like that's a memory I'll never forget. I hope every sports fan can have a moment like that when their team wins a title. It's something I'll never forget. Just celebrating, dancing, just having a good time with my buddies. It was an awesome moment.
And with how Kansas City Chiefs are doing, Chris, I can confidently say that won't be the only time you celebrate a title.
I hope so, Adam. I hope so.
All right. Last
Y'all
but not
gonna win a
least,
championship next year.
last but not least, Big David. Oh, wait. I mean, Chris, do you have anything left you wanted to say?
That is all good. That's all I got. Not
Okay.
big hockey fan. Also kind of a soccer fan, but not too big in any teams. I just kind of watch as it goes.
All right. It's all right. All right, David, you're last. Last up.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to go to the recent year when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. 2018. I graduated TTNJ back then.
Yeah, you're a Philly sports fan, right?
Yeah.
So Phillies, Eagles, 76ers, and Flyers.
Flyers,
Gotcha.
Phillies.
Bono base.
Okay, Will Smith.
That's what I guess I gotta say. At Marcus State, I got to be a ton of Philadelphia sports fans, a ton of them. And I like them all too. Philadelphia sports fans always says they're a passionate bunch. In a good way. In both a good and bad way.
No, I mean,
Alex, put your
they're
mic
passionate.
on.
You can't deny that.
Take the mute off. We're all going to be in this. Okay. So, David, what is your favorite Phillies memory and Sixers memory and a Flyer memory?
Don't forget the Eagles.
Too.
Huh?
So what I was talking about, I talked about the Eagles first because they won the recent year because the other Philly sports teams didn't actually run like a long time ago. Eagles won Super Bowl 2018. That was like one of my favorite memories. I remember that night. They was during my college time, my senior year. I was home, not in college. I was celebrating with my neighbors, my family friends I grew up with. They're also Eagles fans and Philly sports fans like I am. And I remember that night my dad picked me up and then I was like doing this. Yeah, like I was like all excited and everything. I think my dad said chicken, dinner.
Let's go.
That's cute, man.
All right, so everyone. So to close the show out, I just wanted to ask this question to every single one, even including myself. So to close out this episode, I just want to ask you all, to our listeners, why should they keep tuning into this podcast and future episodes of the podcast? And I'll go first. The reason why you should keep tuning into this podcast that we're doing is that myself, and I trust all my 4 co-hosts here will also do, we're all going to be honest with our takes. We're all just going to be honest. We're just going to leave it all out there. Because one thing I dislike about current sports media is that you see some of these guys on, whether it be ESPN, FS1, WFAN, whatever you want to call them. Some of these guys, they clearly are just spinning out hot takes just to get clicks. Like, you can tell that at least some of them, they don't actually believe what they're saying. Or maybe they do, but they're clearly trying to get it. And the one thing I can promise about myself is that I'll always be honest with my opinions and stuff. I will always give you my honest, unapologetic take. So That's all I can really say.
For us, man, this is gonna be real love of the game. Five dudes that love sports so much that they may love it over women. That's how much we love sports.
And that's saying something.
He's right. He's right, though.
Much as I love my fiance, I love sports.
All right.
But
I love my girlfriend too. Alexandra, if you're listening, I love you.
This is like 100 years of sports knowledge in one. We all love the game. We're all over 20. I know Chris's age, but you know, this is like over 21 and over sports takes.
Yeah.
We love the game, much as we all love sports.
Yeah.
We love talking about sports. We live it. We breathe it. We will bleed for it. We will die for it. Not die, but you guys get the followers.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I basically want to be Ken Singleton and Lee Corso, sort of like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, but Skip Bayless is terrible. We ain't gonna be him in this podcast.
Oh my! He recently got extended. By the way, did you hear that? He recently got that. He recently signed
his contract.
He recently signed a contract extension. What is FS1 thinking? I mean, we'll get into that like in hopefully a future
episode.
You
could do way better.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how Skip Bayless is the worst journalist in sports history.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Mark that down for our next episode. Mark that down.
And we're also going to talk about why Jerry Krause is the worst general manager in NBA history.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that.
Spoilers. Okay.
We're going to talk about Jerry Krause in our next episode. We're going to talk about Jerry Krause is the worst general manager in history. Next episode. And does any of my brothers have anything else to say?
All right, Alex. You have anything to say?
It's definitely going to be a fun year to come with the NCAA tournament, the regular season for baseball, NBA playoffs, and the trade deadline for the NBA.
Yeah. And
it's going to be a full, fun, field-packed year on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be covering everything. Like, whatever sport, like I said, like, whether it's New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, national, international, whatever sport, we got you covered. Chris?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so you guys have already talked about it. We're going to have honest takes, and we're going to have some fun. We got a lot of different sports teams we're fans of. We all love a good variety of sports, so we'll have a lot of different topics to discuss. Adam mentioned how we're going to be honest with you, not giving those takes, like just not going for clicks. We're just going to be honest with everything we say. That doesn't mean we're not going to have the occasional hot take, because
we're all going to have hot takes.
We're definitely going to have some hot takes. That's not what we're saying.
They're all going to be natural. They're all going to be natural hot takes. We're not going to force anything.
Yeah, we're not going to force it. We're
not going to force it and breathe it down your throat.
Yeah, we'll just be real about what we are. And
this is an independent radio show. We're independent. We don't do politics. There's no Democrats, no Republicans.
Exactly.
But only thing we may support is Black Lives Matter in this group chat.
Exactly. All right, David.
D-Money, you up, baby.
The most exciting thing I am most looking forward, you can't go wrong with it, having fans come back. But I can't wait when I go back to go to games down in Philly. Probably I could go to a game with Alex or Big Mike. Hopefully I could go to a game with you, Adam, or Chris if it comes to PA.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Awesome. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. This has been the episode 0 of the Get Your Game Out podcast, hosted by yours truly, Adam Grassani, along with Michael Cunningham, Alexander Reich, Chris Kern, and David Heller. And remember, my friends, don't assume your dreams are just fantasy. If you can imagine a world, believe in it and dive in. We look forward to bringing future episodes for you. So see you next time. And until then, stay lit.